Now, this is just me completely assuming and just saying, what if, basically, this is not guaranteed a thing? There's no facts. There's nothing even remotely close of talking about how things will work for Destiny 2's microtransactions. But this is something that I am concerned about with how I'm seeing the changes to reputation, at least for the patrols. Well, for starters, before we talk about this issue that I'm concerned about, let's talk about Destiny 1 and its microtransactions. When it was implemented, the microtransactions, everyone freaked out. But it calmed people down when they realized that the microtransactions were all cosmetic. Pretty much. They did add boosters, which this is where there was a line. You can't cross it after this. The boosters were purchasable, and they would allow you to get extra reputation, like better reputation, when you would activate this, and it would last 2 hours. The thing is that you had to play the game to actually get that benefit for paying for those. And also, you can get these very easily if you play the game all the time. So it didn't really matter either way, I guess. So, number one, it was 2 hours long. That was it. And you couldn't pause it. You had to play the game. Number two, it went towards a reputation that you earn from playing the game. And number three, it was very easy to get them. As in, wasn't that big of a difference of paying for it versus playing for free and getting it, of earning it. Yeah. So, leaving off with that, Destiny 2. We already know Tess Everest is gonna... She survived. Good. And she's in the farm. And obviously, she'll be selling, as in she wants our cash. She'll be selling some emotes and cosmetics and stuff, which is fine. I always look at the microtransactions as a tip jar to companies. Yes, we still have to pay for DLC. Yes, we still have to pay for the expansions, but these are all cosmetics, so it can't hurt to have like a tip jar like that, as long as like we could still get these things from playing the game. And as I've seen, apparently now when you level up, you get a bright engram, which you turn in to Tess Everest to get something in return. So maybe this means that we still can get these things for free. That might be good. But this is where I get concerned. Now, I talked about cosmetic stuff. Well, one thing I knew that was more than likely going to transfer over was going to be the boosters. In some shape or form. Maybe. Not guaranteed that being a thing, because they stopped selling it for the Age of Triumph. I don't know if they did for Rise of Iron, but for Age of Triumph, they just have the boxes and that's it. But the thing is that these boosters were revolving around the mechanic of how we earned reputation in Destiny 1. In Destiny 2, this is where things get scary. Well, it's good. It's good how we get reputation. I feel like it's a lot more enjoyable this way. You get tokens, and those tokens you turn in for reputation. Think of it as when you give motes a light to your faction. You just give them stuff, and then they give you reputation. You don't have to go and finish a strike or anything to get the numbers of reputation. You give them the physical object for reputation. That's what these tokens do now. But this is just for the patrol area. We don't really know how Vanguard and Crucible is going to work. And the factions, of course, like Dead Orbit. But the thing is, and this is the thing that I'm concerned about, I'm still excited for Destiny 2, but I hope that this is not true. If this is going to be the case, we got to look at it in the minds of Activision, and them being a corporation, and they've done some greedy things with games like Call of Duty. Thankfully, Overwatch is fine with cosmetic-only stuff, and Destiny 1 was pretty much all cosmetic. Just a little bit of the boosters, but that was okay. What if, and it's a big what if they sold these tokens where you pay money? Or like a universal token that would turn in for like 500 rep or something. Be like $5, $2 or something. Now, Just think about that. Tessever is selling cosmetics, and then she's got tokens that you could purchase. Things that you don't have to do anything. You just give it to the person and reputation. And now, remember, when you turn in these tokens and you rank up the faction, whatever, you get weapons and armor that are light level. Now you kind of understand where I'm concerned. Pay to win stuff, basically. Or pay to not grind. I don't want to see that. And that's what I'm mainly worried about. In all seriousness, I don't mind them having any sort of microtransaction system that's cosmetic. But I do mind when it becomes more pay to get an easy pass through grinding or pay to win. Basically, when there's weapons in there or light level gear. Anything along those lines. Anything that would give you an advantage in any shape or form. When you got the boosters, it gave you an advantage, sort of, but you still had to play the game, and also you got these things pretty easily. So it didn't really matter. All the armor, all the sparrows, they had nothing that would give you an advantage. And actually, this was the biggest thing that I respected on Bungie's end, where they made that clear. They really understood that we did not want to see any sort of advantage when it came to the microtransactions. They didn't want their game to be like that. But things can change. I mean, they're obviously getting a lot of praise for this Destiny 2 hype. A lot of people are going to buy this game, I'm sure, and I hope that the amount of praise that they're getting and stuff like that is not going into their heads where they want to take advantage of that. So, what is this? Am I maybe correct? Could this possibly happen? Yes. Do I want it to happen? No. Do I want any of you to want it to happen? No. Don't even be, it's okay. No. 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 I am not going to be okay with that. Especially since they're waiting to tell us if they were to do that. Call of Duty has done this. Activision with Infinite Warfare, they did this. Last minute, they basically were like, look, supply drops. When we did not know at all about that until last minute. They knew, because if they were to announce it earlier, it would have caused probably a numerous amount of, constructive emails to Activision, and caused a lot of just going away from the pre-orders. This could happen with Destiny 2 if they were to announce it. They haven't gone into detail about how Tesseverus is going to work. I feel like this is not something lore-wise, so I figured that maybe they would answer it. No one has actually interviewed him and talked to him about it, and I'm just saying this. I'm not giving hate to Bungie. Most of the time, I kind of more or less blame Activision, like the main people that are publishing the games, who have more of where they're holding the strings. But no matter what, it's not going to be good if they go down this route. Like, no one has obviously been kind of thinking about this. I was surprised when I saw that right off the bat when I was watching the gameplay, and I saw that they were getting tokens for reputation. I was like, uh-oh. I mean, I love physical things to turn in, to go to NPCs. It makes the world more lively, I guess. Almost like you're turning in quests to people. But the thing is, before I even was concerned about, is our inventory space going to be filled up in a mess like how it was with Destiny 1 right now? Before I even thought about that and freaked out about that, I was like, oh boy, they could sell these. They literally could. Why? Because, I mean, unless they sell us boosters where you get, like, maybe a chance of getting more tokens to drop, boosters will be irrelevant. At least in the patrol areas, unless they have tokens as well. like if they don't have tokens, I mean, inside of the for Crucible and Vanguard, unless we get tokens there too. But it makes the booster now obsolete. And if the booster is obsolete, let me just have you think of it this way. That's like them taking away something from their store that was doing good for them at first. So yeah, let's just remove it and not replace it with anything that's close to relevant to that kind of mechanic where it boosts you in some shape or form. People were saying that they could sell us double XP boosters, like how they're doing promotional stuff and other things. Like the double XP stuff, I guess I don't really care, especially if it's a limited time thing. Like Red Bull with Destiny Taken King did this, and it didn't really bother me because it lasted for whatever long, and then it's done. Promotional stuff like that, I don't care about. It's getting a good head start with paying for sponsorship stuff, but when it's something that stays in the game forever, then that's when I'm concerned. So I hope that there is no pay to win or anything like that. I never support that kind of stuff because it's unnecessary. It really is. We've learned this with Overwatch. We really have, that people will spend money for things that have no value of making your character better in the game. You look different. And even though people will not use all these skins, they will only use one and stick with it, or use the most recent skin, they still keep paying and paying for boxes, supply drops and stuff, the cosmetics. That's all you need is just cosmetics. There is never an excuse for a company to be like, oh, we had to put some sort of grind pay to win thing, get away, whatever you want to call it. No, there's never an excuse. There's never an excuse because we know that cosmetics are good enough for crying out loud. Look at the Festival Lost. The masks had no light level. What, you couldn't infuse them to light level. They were just, oh look, I look like the Cryptarch. Everyone hates me now. Yet people would spend money. Yeah, they had sparrows and shaders, but versus the Dawning where there was armor that you could infuse, with the Festival Lost, there was more pointless stuff, and people were spending money on there. I was seeing it in the tower. So, I don't want to hear any of that, Bungie/Activision. I don't want to hear any of that. I'm really excited for your game. Don't disappoint me. If you show respect to your fan base, where you don't want to milk the money out of their wallets, like, I'll respect your game. I'll respect everything. Like, I'm excited. But if you do that trash, shame on you. That's all I have to say. But thank you so much for listening. Chibi out.